Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be giving you my review of Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory. A super freaking show with, well, something a little unexpected right at the end. And you know what? We're going to talk about it. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a little something to drink, and let's do this. So, we start off white hot. It's the X Division title on the line as Chris Sabin defends against Kenta. Now, this match wasn't as crazy as I thought it would be. It was still a really good match. But overall, it has, an X Division title match, I feel like there was some missing. Although I will say, Kenta teasing the go to sleep in the Chicago crowd, that's funny because that's actually Kenta's move. He taught it to, Phil. CM Punk. Couple times Kenta got out of the Cradle Shock, which that dude's something else, man. Bunch of offense from Sabin, including a massive clothesline. Eventually gets the Cradle Shock for the win and the retention. Overall, it was a very good match. I do feel like there were some beats missing though, but overall, I had fun with it. A great opener. And we roll right into the next match. It is a fatal 4-way Monsters Ball match. Basically, Monsters Ball. All weapons are legal, won by pinfall or submission. And then 24 hours before the match, the participants are closed off from society, no food or water. I mean, obviously, that's all in kayfabe. There's no way they would starve these people. Anyway, participants. PCO. Steve Maclin, Moose, and Rhino. And before the match starts, Maclin jumps Rhino during his entrance. Moose then comes down, hits Maclin with the Feaster Fired case. The three of them brawl for a little bit. Then, coming out to his full entrance is PCO. And they all just, they hit each other with everything. At one point, you see Maclin body slam PCO on a pile of cinder blocks that have thumbtacks on them. Like, why? Why in the heck would you do that? Maclin eventually goes for the KIA, but that gets countered. Rhino, from out of nowhere, gets a table that's covered in barbed wire. Like, good lord. PCO attempts the PCO assault, but Maclin pushes him into the table with barbed wire on it, in which, ow! Rhino with a big old gore. And then PCO gets up, which, dude, hits the PCO assault for the victory. And that might be it for PCO and Impact. I know his contract has run out. So might be the last time we see him under the Impact banner. Hope he goes somewhere nice that treats him really well, because this dude ain't human. We then get a backstage interview with Mickie James. Pretty much saying, look, with Trinity, she and I are good colleagues. We've rekindled our friendship here in Impact. I've been very proud to watch her from the side. But now, I'm ready to get in the ring with her. for the first time ever, which that's honestly insane. Naomi, Trinity, and Mickie James have never shared a ring together, even with Trinity's time in WWE. That's actually insane. So, anyway, then she turns to the camera. Trinity, may the best woman win. Anyway, can't wait for that match. And now we get the first cash-in of the Feast or Failure case as the ABC challenge the Rascals for the tag team titles. Feast or Failure is pretty much Money in the Bank, but there's 4 cases, one with a pink slip, and Chris Bay got the tag team title shot, in which every participant wanted it, which, that was odd, but whatever. This match was really fast-paced. Everyone looked great doing their stuff. But, yeah, this was I wouldn't say clunky, but it was odd. Like, they were going a mile a minute, but it felt like they were just doing stuff. I don't know. It did make sense, but it also kind of didn't. But I had fun with it. Chris Bay tries for the Art of Finesse. That gets whiffed. Eventually, Trey gets the spray can with the paint in it. Goes to spray it into Ace Austin's face. That gets turned... Actually, no. Ace Austin ducks, sprays Wentz right in the face. So a little karma. A bunch of super kicks from the ABC. Right into the Art of Finesse and the Fold for your winners and new tag team champions, the Ace and Bay Connection, the ABC. I see what you're doing there. Anyway, really solid match. It was definitely hard for me to keep up, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. Next up, we have a match of the year candidate. Like, I'm not even saying that as an opinion. This is a fact. You got Will Ospreay, the current New Japan Pro Wrestling UK champion, taking on Speedball Mike Bailey. We were supposed to get this match at the first Multiverse United show, but Will Ospreay got a little hurt. So, that match didn't happen. And now it's here at Bound for Glory. Think about that. Let's just think about that for a second. New Japan Pro Wrestling trusts Impact now with their talent. With one of their top talents. Think about that for a second. How cool is that? Anyway, I don't know what else to say. This match was absolutely nuts from the get-go. Bunch of counters from... at one point, Ospreay catches the spin kick. Hits an Oscutter on the apron, which that looked brutal. At one point, Mike Bailey blocks an Oscutter, which that was awesome. Ducks a hidden blade, which you don't see that very often. Ospreay kicks out of the Ultima Weapon, which that's nutty. Mike Bailey brings out the Meteor Rain, which is a new, I guess, signature he's trying out, and it does look really, really neat. But that only gets a deuce count. Ospreay whips out the Styles Clash of all things. Shout out to the Phenomenal One. And then after a Storm Driver, a Hidden Blade, and a Stormbreaker, your winner, Will Ospreay. And they shake hands. Man, that was such a good match. I'm going to say, if you haven't seen this match, go check it out for yourself. And yeah, you'll see that this is a match of the year candidate. Next up, it's a good one. It's the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, where the winner gets a title shot at any title they want at any time. And yeah, it's gauntlet style, which is, it's pretty much Royal Rumble rules. Over the top rope, both feet hit the floor, you're out. The two people, I'll get to that in a little while. Starting off this matchup is Jake Something and Eddie Edwards. And yeah, Jake and Eddie go at it for a while, man. That was very nutty opening with Jake Something overpowering Eddie, but then Eddie using his intelligence to fight back. Person in number 30 is Kenny King. And it looks like he's going right after Eddie Edwards, and then a huge kick to Jake Something. And then Eddie and Kenny King hug it out as Honor No More, at least for the evening, reunites. If you don't remember Honor No More, there was a couple Ring of Honor guys who were in Impact for a while. It was Vincent, the Kingdom, PCO, Kenny King, and Eddie Edwards, which I miss that stable. That was a great group. Person in number 4, making his Impact return, Juventud Guerrera. The juice is loose, my friend. He was in the original TNA, when they were doing like weekly pay-per-views in the Tennessee Fairgrounds. And he comes in, he does his good lucha best, man. Good to see Hoovy back in the game. So they go at it for a little while. Next person in, my apologies. It's Johnny Swinger making his Impact return. He's been dealing with some stuff. I'm very happy he's back. He goes right after Kenny King. They fight for a bit. And then Johnny Swinger eliminates him with a nice little clothesline. But then something interesting happens. Then Crazy Steve hits Johnny Swinger with his Feast or Fired case. He starts beating him up. Person number 6, it's Giselle Shaw. That's right. The Knockouts are involved with this matchup. And as she's making her entrance, security comes out, tries to stop Crazy Steve as he has his signature fork now. Looks like he's going to fork Swinger in the head. But then Crazy Steve gets escorted out by security. And, of course, Swinger is eliminated shortly after by Giselle Shaw. And then Tommy Dreamer comes out and brawls up to the outside with Crazy Steve. Person out number 7, it's Jody Threat, which definitely in an interesting place for her. And she goes right after Shaw. She tries to eliminate Shaw. And then the Shaw Taraj, that's Evans and Vidal, catch her, put her back up on the apron, back in the ring. Person number 8 is Kylan King. And she goes right in there like a house of fire. Eventually eliminates Hoovy. Person out number 9, and I can't believe this one. It's Sunny Kiss making their Impact debut. My mistake. And yeah, they go out like a house of fire, hit a big old neck drop kick and a neck breaker onto Shaw, and just a military press to Shaw to the outside, which that was interesting, man. Person out number 10, it's Bully Ray. And he gets face to face with Sonny Kiss, and they have a dance off, which, that made me laugh so hard. That was funny. Person number 11 out, always ready. It's Matt Cardona, the indie god, making his Impact return. And he immediately runs into a scoop slam by Bully Ray, who hits that weather with Sonny Kiss. I'm pretty sure they did that at All In during the over-budget Battle Royal. The original one, not the one in England. Which, that was very, very funny. Next person is the Juggernaut, Jordynne Grace. And she goes right after Bully Ray, who just, pokes her in the eyes, starts stomping a mud hole in her. Person number 13, Eric Young, Impact OG, starts trying to get stuff done. Comes in like a house fire, including a pile driver to Eddie Edwards, who then he eliminates. Person in number 14, say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry, who's right into the fray. Person in number 15, it's Brian Myers. So we got the major players right in. Hits a spear on Hendry, eliminates him pretty much right away. Cardona comes up behind him. Myers turns around. They're face to face. They hug it out. And they start working together, including eliminating Sonny Kiss. Person out number 16, it's Heath. Now, of course, Heath has his own contract expiring. And he just goes in there, hits a bunch of wake-up calls on pretty much everybody. But then that gets slowed down by the major players, who then eliminate him. Person in number 17, it's Frankie Kazarian, who is right in like a house of fire. Bunch of leg drops, DDT. But then immediately gets hit by a roster cut by Myers. Person in number 18, it's Rich Swann. Of course, he's missing Sami Callihan as he's out of the company too. Pretty much goes right in there against the major players, but he gets a little overwhelmed. Person in number 19, person we haven't seen in a little while, it's Jonathan Gresham, and he goes right in. And he actually goes right after Jody Threat, eliminates them. Person in number 20, after their big win in the 5-way a few weeks ago, it's Dirty Dango. He comes out with his entourage. That's Alpha Bravo and Oleg Kruger, a.k.a. Vladimir Kozlov, which can't believe he's here. Then it's right in, right out for Dango. Then Oleg gets on the apron, gets in the ring for a little bit, and just starts beating people up. Officials come out, get Oleg out of the ring, and then Dango and his crew leave. Not long after that, Kaz gets eliminated. Followed shortly by Rich Swann, and then EY, with pretty much the major players working together to do this. Gresham actually was a little cheeky with his wife, Jordynne Grace, as they kind of slapped each other around a little bit. It was honestly kind of cute. Not to say violence against significant others is cute, but, in the wrestling sense. Just to put that out there. Gresham goes for a moonsault, but then he gets pretty much kicked in the head and eliminated. Jake something with an Into the Void on Brian Myers. But then he gets hit by a low blow. Jake something eliminated by the players. Then Cardona tosses Myers over the top rope. He's eliminated. And then we get a four-way, which, they each pair off. Then King and Cardona are eliminated. And we're left with a one-on-one contest, as it's Jordynne Grace and Bully Ray. And Grace just starts hammering Bully with shots for a little bit. Bully fights back for a little bit, but then a Juggernaut driver, and your winner of the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, Jordynne Grace. Then she gets on the microphone, pretty much calls her shot at Hard to Kill for the Knockouts title. Here is my only thing about that. Either Mickie or Trinity versus Grace, that's money, obviously. But I think you don't have her announce what she's going to cash in on, because she could potentially cash in on the world title. Think about that. That's kind of the only real negative mark on the world title, is that the only woman to ever hold it is Tessa Blanchard, and if you know her history, it's not so good. But, you know what? I'm going to let it... I'm not going to have it hang up on me for long. And now we get our semi-main event, and it's for the Knockouts title, as Mickie James challenges Trinity. Now, it does start off slow, with each person kind of feeling their way for their opponent, but then eventually it picks right up with crossbodies, DDTs. At one point they go for a double head smash in the ring. They both roll out and they beat the tank out, which I'm glad it didn't end like that. They go tit for tat, counter for counter. No one could really get a leg up until Mickie James hits her Mick kick. Goes for the Mick DDT, only for a 2 count. Trinity looks to go for the X Factor, but Mickie James moves out of the way. Mickie James with a Heat Seeker, which that's a gnarly move. Jeez. Didn't realize she had that in her. Mickie James goes for the Mick DDT again. Gets countered. Rana right into the Starstruck. Mickie James with a counter for a roll-up for a 2 count. But then Trinity gets Starstruck right back in. And your winner via submission, still Knockouts champion, Trinity. And honestly, that was a dang good matchup. I was edge of my seat the whole time. And I'm definitely looking forward to Grace versus Trinity, because it's definitely going to be a good matchup. So, next up, we got an interview with Moose, who says, while things didn't go my way for the gauntlet tonight, I will always be a winner when I have this. He has the world title shot for the Feaster from Feast or Fired. And at Hard to Kill, I'm calling my shot, and I'm going to walk out champion. So, looks like Moose is next in line, and a lot of promotion for Hard to Kill. And don't worry, we got that covered. Don't you worry. And final up, we got our main event of the evening for the Impact World title, as Josh Alexander challenges Alex Shelley for the title he never lost. Again, went a little slow at first. Alexander going for a C4 spike early on, but that gets countered. Shelley almost gets a shell shock, but that gets blocked right into the ankle lock, but then Alex Shelley in the ropes. Lot of solid mat wrestling in this match, which I'm very surprised by because Alex Shelley is usually a high flyer. Anyway, they go pretty much tit for tat the entire way. At one point, Alexander has Shelley ready for a Chaos Theory suplex. Shelley does take the move, but he removes the turnbuckle from the pad from the turnbuckle, which, if you've ever seen that, that's pretty much metal. So, eventually that does get used. Roll up by Shelley into a 2 count. Josh Alexander continuing to go for the C4 spike, but that gets blocked in each and every time. Alex Shelley with a shell shock right into the guardrail, in which I thought that would have done it. Frog splash only for a 2 count. Shelley with the Border City stretch, but Alexander with the roll up for the 2. Tried a couple more times for the C4. That gets blocked. Shelley for the shell shock once. That gets blocked. Eventually does hit it. And your winner, Alex Shelley. I will say that match ended a little bit abruptly, but overall that was an excellent main event. And then afterwards, they shake hands. They give each other a nice hug. And what I thought was going to be the finish of the show ends very interestingly as we get a video package of the current Impact roster, or at least most of them. So like Sabin, Shelley, both members of the Edwards family, Josh Alexander, Eric Young, Jordan Grace, all running through like a swamp, I guess, intercut with other roster members both from the past and the present cut between them. And then we see Frankie Kazarian coming out of swamp water with a box. Now, as soon as I saw that box, I'm thinking, that was the promotional box from Slammiversary from a couple years ago, where they, showed highlights of old Impacts. So, they go on a spiel about how, we should be writing our own history. This is going to be a new chapter for this company. And the only way to go forward is to go back. And then Josh Alexander opens the box. We get a flood of TNA and Impact stuff. Screen fades to black, revealing the new logo for TNA Wrestling. And at Hard to Kill on January 13th, Impact Wrestling is going back to be renamed TNA. In which, I'm going to say this, I am the biggest fan of TNA. Every Thursday during the day, I watch Fight Network, and they have old TNA shows from the Impact Zone in Orlando with, like, Kurt Angle and Sting and AJ Styles and upon hearing those letters again, gets me hyped. Anyway, after that, there was some reports going on that, they're getting some new titles. They're going to up their production. Brand new stage. Which definitely sounds nice. I'm glad Anthem is investing a little bit more in Impact / TNA. But the one thing that isn't coming back, and I'm a little sad about it, but I definitely understand why, is the 6-sided ring, which TNA was known for. But either way, I am super hyped. TNA is making a comeback, and I can't wait to see what those titles look like. It's definitely a really fun time to be a wrestling fan right now. I'm glad you went on this trip with me. Please like the video, comment what you thought of Bound for Glory. Leave me a comment on what you think Impact going back to TNA. It's I'm so happy. I hope you can tell. Coming up this week, obviously on Wednesday, I'm going to be bringing you my predictions for NWA Salway, which I will sadly not be watching the broadcast of because I will be at AEW Collision that night. So that review might be a little bit late. We'll see. And then I'll give you my review on Thursday of Raw, Power, and AEW Dynamite. And then, we'll see where the week takes us. And until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.